Commercial Real Estate Show videos are brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage Services. When your business requires proven performance, visit bullrealty.com. Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is America's Commercial Real Estate Show. If you'd like to know the absolute latest on any commercial real estate subjects or property sectors, you're invited to check out our show podcast. Last week, we covered ways to increase cash flows and reduce taxes using 1031 exchanges, cost segregation studies, and self-directed IRAs. You can hear this show and other shows while they're still available on iTunes and on the show website, commercialrealestateshow.com. Well, today our topic is social media for business. My guest is Shama Kabani, author of The Zen of Social Media Marketing. And Shama, I'd like to ask you about, business users. There's so many choices in social media world. Which applications, which systems seem to work the best for business users?
It depends on your goals, certainly. There's so many social networking sites out there. The big four really now are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. And a lot of it depends on your goals and what you're looking for. If your business is B2B, LinkedIn is a very strong social networking site. If you are looking to really target people by location, by geolocation, in real estate, sometimes you see that where you're working within a specific area. Facebook is very strong. Twitter is great for when you really want to get a message out there and attract as many people as possible. So all the tools have their their secret weapons, if you will. And the tool that you're going to choose depends on what you're trying to accomplish. A lot of times, all the tools make sense because it's you're wanting all of it. You're wanting those connections. You're wanting to get the message out there. Then the importance becomes figuring out what is it of value that you want to share. How are you? And that's really the big question that any of these people have to ask, even before the apps, is what am I going to provide that people will want to listen, no matter the platform. The message is still important. You can't mistake the medium for the message. A lot of people tend to do that. So you have to make sure that you have something worth saying.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Now let's talk about some specific systems like Twitter. What are some Twitter tips for business users?
Twitter tips for business users, certainly start with branding yourself well, meaning Twitter had just rolled out with a brand new design. You have a lot more real estate, no pun intended, on the website, so you can update your background, make sure it's very clear that people know what it is that they're getting when they follow you. The other thing that I would recommend on Twitter is to really listen before you jump in terms of figuring out what is the conversation like, what are people talking about in terms of about your company, about terms of your industry, and then find conversations that you really feel that you can add value to. Avoid the mundane. I had a cheeseburger for lunch, unless that's going to be followed with, down at Tom's cheeseburger stand, which just opened. It's great, and I like it. I mean, it's okay to share your life as long as it's adding to other people's lives. So these are some Twitter rules to keep in mind. Yeah,
it's interesting that it seems like they say to talk a little bit about yourself personally to give you some personality, but you really want to stick to your business message, right?
It depends on what your business message is and hopefully it's well crafted. But certainly, yes, you want to talk about, just look at, it's so funny, if you just observe the people you follow and you get a sense of why do you follow them, you'll see it's because they add value to your life, because their tweets are either smart or funny or, it's the same reason why you hang out with certain people versus others. It's because they add to your life. And that's really what your goal should be with your Twittering.
Yeah, that's interesting. We've got a lot of followers at the show, and we're tweeting great information about commercial real estate and companies using commercial real estate, good tips for them, and it tends to attract a lot of followers. So it's also good not to kind of just tweet what you're trying to sell all the time, but provide some great information, right?
And I always tell people, I say, when you have to find what works for you. In terms of, a lot of people say, I don't have 1 million followers, or I want to get a bunch. And then you look at what they do, and it's niche, and you say, look, you're not, yes, I will say that quantity is important. If you have your target market's 100 and you can get 99, great. But what's more important is quality. You can have 10,000 followers, but if none of them are interested in commercial real estate, then the chances are they're not really going to be acting on your messages or making the most of it. So it's better to have, the people who follow you guys really love commercial real estate. It's a passion. It's an industry they're in or they work with. I mean, they want the information you provide, but clearly it's not going to be for everybody.
That's right. And God bless those that like it. Let's talk about Google Plus. It's fairly new on the scene. What do you think about it?
I think my mama's never going to use Google Plus.
Yeah.
And I've said this from the beginning. Google Plus is great. It is, and it's great because it's created by Google.
Right.
And Google has a lot of power over search engines. So Google Plus is great from a reputation management standpoint, from a branding standpoint. If you Google our company name, you'll find that our Google Plus profile page for the company is one of the first on the home page. But we just built that, literally a couple of weeks ago. So it's funny because no other platform will really rank that fast. But of course, it's Google's product, so they're going to give it that extra oomph. They're going to support it from their end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So from that perspective, I think it's really important. Do I think that everyday users will really ever use Google Plus? If they do, it'll be many, many years. Because, it took my mom like 4 years to get on Facebook.
Right.
And and every time she figures something out, they change it and just to learn it again. And so I really can't see her being on Google Plus. So what you see is very similar to what you saw on Twitter when it first started. Techies, early adopters, sort of the varying sort of the geek and nerd badges with pride sort of folks. But it's great. I mean, if that's your target market, having a presence is just important on there. And working on that because of the search engine aspect. And, I think they will take it in another angle. I think they will continue to evolve Google Plus, as all good businesses and models really do. And once they evolve it, then maybe there will be really room to do lots. But for now, it's very, very helpful from a reputation management perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, what are some quick tips for business users of Google Plus?
Set up your business page. Certainly, that's the first and foremost. And it's easy to do. It's not pretty simple. And then manage it just like you would a Facebook page. Because again, you'll find that it starts showing up in the search engines very, very quickly. It's also a great way to organize. You can create circles. Really a big difference between Google Plus and other social networking sites is the whole premise of Google Plus was not every friend is a friend, which in Facebook's language, if I know someone and we're connected, we're friends, but the word friend has different connotations for different people. Google Plus said, well, you've got your work friends and you have those friends from high school that you keep in touch with but don't talk to every day. Then you have your family. And so circles really gives you this option of cultivating your friends list and putting people into different buckets or circles, if you will. And so, it's great for that. I mean, you really can create a circle for family, people that you keep in touch with. From a business perspective, past clients, reporters, media. I mean, and then you can, your status updates, the messages that you share, you can cater them to each crowd. So only your family needs to know about, the softball game or the reunion. So you can send it just to them. And so that's one of the other perks of Google Plus and how you can use it for business.
Well, that's excellent. Well, Shama Kabani, thanks for sharing your insight with us today.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you. And if you'd like more information from Shama Kabani, her Twitter, blog, and other social media contacts are available at commercialrealestateshow.com. Well, stay tuned. In a moment, we'll talk with some leading business users of social media. And the first one is in commercial real estate business. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.